Once upon a time, in a peaceful village called Umuma, there lived a man named Chinedu. Chinedu was a kind and hardworking man, known by everyone in the village for his generosity and good heart. He was happily married to a beautiful woman named Nneka, and together, they had 3 lovely children, 2 girls and a boy. Their home was always filled with laughter, love, and the smell of delicious food that Nneka would cook for the family. Everyone believed that Chinedu and Nneka were the perfect couple, blessed with everything anyone could ever wish for. Chinedu loved his family deeply. Every day, he would wake up early, tend to his farm, and then spend time with his children, teaching them how to fish or telling them stories from his youth. Nneka, on the other hand, was the perfect wife. She took care of the home, made sure the children were well behaved, and always welcomed Chinedu with a warm smile when he returned from the farm. One day, Chinedu decided it was time to build a new garden in the backyard. He wanted a place where the children could play safely and where Nneka could plant her favorite flowers. So, he called some handymen from the neighboring village to help him with the work. The handymen arrived early in the morning and began digging the ground in the backyard. Chinedu stood nearby, watching them work and giving them instructions on how he wanted the garden to look. As they dug deeper into the ground, one of the handymen's shovels hit something hard. "Oh, what could this be?" the man said, confused. He bent down and brushed the dirt away, revealing an old, dusty bottle buried deep in the ground. The bottle was sealed with a cork and seemed very old, with strange markings carved into the glass. Curious, the handyman picked up the bottle and held it out to Chinedu. "Sir, look what we found," he said, smiling. Chinedu's curiosity got the better part of him, and he took the bottle from the man's hands. As he examined it, something strange began to happen. The bottle slipped from Chinedu's fingers and crashed to the ground, shattering into pieces. In that instant, Chinedu felt a sharp pain in his head, as if a thick fog that had clouded his mind for years was suddenly lifted. He blinked rapidly, trying to clear his vision, and then, as if waking from a deep sleep, he gasped. "Amaka!" Chinedu cried out, his voice filled with urgency and confusion. The handymen looked at each other, puzzled. They had never heard Chinedu mention anyone named Amaka before. Nneka, who was inside the house, heard Chinedu call out the unfamiliar name. She hurried outside, her heart pounding with fear. "Who is Amaka?" she asked, her voice trembling. Chinedu turned to Nneka, his eyes wide with confusion. "Nneka, where is Amaka? I need to find her," he demanded as if nothing else in the world mattered. Nneka felt a cold wave of dread wash over her. She had hoped that this day would never come, but deep down, she always knew that the secret she had kept buried for so long would one day be exposed. "Chinedu, please, calm down," Nneka begged, reaching out to him. But Chinedu pulled away, his mind consumed by thoughts of Amaka, the girl he had once loved with all his heart. A few years ago, before he met Nneka, Chinedu had fallen deeply in love with a beautiful young woman named Amaka. They had grown up together in the village, spending every moment they could in each other's company. Chinedu had promised to marry Amaka, and they had dreamed of building a life together. But one day, Amaka suddenly disappeared without a trace, leaving Chinedu heartbroken and lost. Chinedu didn't know that Nneka had secretly loved him for years. She watched from the shadows as Chinedu and Amaka's love blossomed, her heart aching with jealousy. When Amaka disappeared, Nneka saw her chance. She sought the help of a powerful witch in a faraway village and paid her a great sum of money to cast a spell on Chinedu. The spell made Chinedu forget all about Amaka and fall in love with Nneka instead. The spell had worked perfectly. Chinedu married Nneka, and they built a life together. But now, with the breaking of the mysterious bottle, the spell was shattered, and Chinedu's memories of Amaka had come rushing back. "Where is Amaka?" Chinedu asked again, his voice desperate. He couldn't understand why he had forgotten her, the woman he loved more than anything in the world. Nneka's heart raced as she struggled to think of a way to keep her secret from being fully exposed. "Chinedu, please, you're not well. Come inside and rest," she urged, trying to pull him away from the handymen, who were now staring in stunned silence. But Chinedu wouldn't listen. He pushed Nneka away and began walking towards the village square, determined to find answers. He asked everyone he met if they had seen Amaka or knew where she was, but no one could tell him anything. The villagers were confused and whispered among themselves, wondering what had happened to Chinedu that made him act so strangely. As the day turned into night, Chinedu grew more frantic. He searched the entire village, but Amaka was nowhere to be found. Exhausted and heartbroken, he returned home, where Nneka was waiting for him, tears streaming down her face. "Chinedu, I'm sorry," Nneka sobbed, falling to her knees before him. "Please forgive me. I never wanted to hurt you." Chinedu stared at her, his heart torn between the love he once felt for her and the betrayal he now felt. "Nneka, what have you done?" he asked, his voice trembling with emotion. Nneka took a deep breath and confessed everything. She told him about the spell, about how she had made him forget Amaka and marry her instead. She admitted that she had acted out of selfishness and jealousy but truly loved him all these years. Chinedu felt as if the ground had been pulled out from under him. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. The woman he had trusted, the mother of his children, had deceived him in the worst possible way. He felt a deep, aching pain in his chest as if his heart had been shattered into a million pieces. But as he looked at Nneka, he also saw the guilt and sorrow in her eyes. She was not the same woman who had cast that spell many years ago. She was now a mother, a wife who had cared for him and their children, even if her love had been born out of deception. Chinedu's mind was in turmoil. He wanted to hate Nneka for what she had done, but he also knew that the years they had spent together had not been entirely false. Despite the lies, he had been happy with her, and they had built a life together. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door.